Sounds
So
great.
everyone, this is Felecia. Thank you so much. I know you're busy, and I want you to just go ahead.
Okay, sounds good. I'm going to try and share my screen with you guys. Hold on. Let's see if I can get this to work. Okay, can you guys see my full screen? Okay, cool. Alright, sorry, hold on. Alright guys, you ready? Hello? Okay, cool. Alright, so my name is Felecia Hatcher. I am the chief popsicle of a company called Feverish Gourmet Pops, based in Miami, Florida, and then also the author of 2 books. One, The C Student's Guide to Scholarships, a creative guide to finding scholarships when your grades suck and your parents are broke, because that was pretty much me back in the day. And then my new book, How to Start a Business on a Ramen Noodle Budget. And just really going into like really awesome lessons and really easy lessons to break down getting over that big hump of starting a business, but then also very creative ways of branding your business and really being able to catapult what you're doing. And I think that's really the essence of what we're going to be talking about here today, is really trying to figure out, dive down deep into your specific niche, especially in the fashion industry, and learning how to merge influences from other industries into what you're doing to really catapult your message, get some kick-ass media, because that really helps with building your brand and building the perception around it. And then, of course, just making sure that everything flows well together and you have fun at the same time, because that's also important. I think sometimes that gets lost in everything that we're doing. I have a presentation. I'm just going to go through a few slides with you guys really quick, and I also want to leave some time for some questions. So I'm not yapping, because I also want to learn more about what you guys are doing and make sure I'm tailoring what I'm giving you specifically to exactly what your needs are as you're starting to grow your idea or your badass business. So I worked in marketing and PR and branding for a lot of really big companies. I like to call it my swag. I like to say that I stole from the big boys. Not going to jail in that sense as far as like stealing extra copy paper or toilet paper or anything like that, but everything that I learned from working for these really big companies, Nintendo, the NBA, Verizon, even Little Debbie snack cakes, I was able to take what I learned in those lessons from a marketing and branding standpoint and interject it into my company. One of the biggest lessons that I learned from them is that they were taking all their money away from the traditional means of advertising, like newspapers, radio, magazines, print, you name it, and they were really focusing on building an experience. And that's something that I think they may have even learned from the fashion industry. You know, you can tell people that the clothing looks amazing all day long. You can put it in a magazine. You can talk about it on the radio, but it's nothing like the experience of a woman or a man putting it on, and it just fits right, and it feels right, and it looks right, and it makes them stand up a little bit stronger and give them a little bit more confidence. There's nothing like that, that experience that you can replace. And that's what a lot of these big companies were starting to find. Like, hey, if we create an experience and people have a really good experience, a few things are going to happen. They're going to continue to take, word of mouth. They're going to continue to take that message viral, for one. And then two, they're more likely to make these big money purchases if they've had a very enjoyable experience. And that's essentially the area that I worked in, and it was all about creating the experience. So if you think from a video game standpoint, if you want to try the new video game, you can either try it with, standing in the middle of the aisle of a Circuit City or a Best Buy or a Target, or whatever big box store and play the video game in the aisle, or, you know, in the middle of the parking lot of a shopping market, or the middle of Times Square. You know, we import beach sand, and we have girls dressed up as personal trainers and guys in cabana outfits, and little cabanas everywhere and lounge chairs, and we're going around with fun drinks and then spread out through this whole enormous footprint. We're playing Hawaiian music, and the video game is spread out, and we've essentially turned, a street area into a parking lot. That's a really fun experience, and for most people it's something for them to walk away with, and that's really what I like to say when I say I stole from the big boys, is I learned everything that they taught me while they were paying me, and I was able to apply that to a small company and create a really unique niche from that. Just a little bit about Feverish. You know, we make gourmet popsicles. Everything's handcrafted, all organic and natural ingredients. I like to say it's about time the popsicle grew up. And, I didn't invent popsicles. I wish I would have, because that would have been something to brag about. But I didn't invent it. I won't be the only popsicle company, but we are the only ones that do it the way that we do, and that's really important. We have the flexibility, just like you have in fashion, to literally create on the spot and to be able to make changes if your customer wants something changed. You're able to customize every single thing. You know, we can create a new flavor for a client, like this picturesque event that we were doing for Google, and we had we had red popsicles, we had green, we had yellow to go with the different colors in the Google logo. Google's name was on the popsicle sticks. Branded napkins, branded wrappers, so it became something that was a promotional item for them, way past the experience of just popsicles. But then people have an emotional connection to food, just like people have an emotional connection to clothing. You know, it can really make or break your day. You guys know that, especially for my women there. You know how long we'll stay at home trying to find the right outfit to go with the right pair of shoes to go out and be able to step out and like really shine. So just like an emotional connection to food, people have a direct emotional connection to clothing, and it's important to have that level of customization, or for people to feel like there's a customizable element to what they're doing. Again, just some more popsicles. We do a lot of really fun events. This was an event that we did at JM. This guy was playing around and put one of our popsicles in his pocket for some reason, but people like to have fun. And, a lot of big companies, when you look at them, that's all they're trying to do, is they're trying to bottle up fun. They're trying to bottle up cool, and they're trying to figure out a way to make that last and to make sure that that's synonymous with their brand and what they're doing. We do weddings, just really fun stuff. Because we have a really small company. It doesn't seem like we have a really small company, but we've been able to get a lot of really good media attention. From the Today Show, from the Cooking Channel, Entrepreneur Magazine, Black Enterprise, Inc., Fox News, Boston Globe, Urban Daddy, Daily Candy. And then also some really big-time clients, so Capitol Records and Adidas, and even Tom Cruise. I like to call him the Oprah couch jumper. Whole Foods, Universal Records. The list goes on and on. But we're a popsicle company, and we've been able to really do some really fun things, but then also very unique, that don't really cost us a lot of money, but provide a lot of value. And it's something that these big companies have felt that they wanted to align with our company in order to catapult what they're doing. And when you build a brand the right way, and your messaging is the right way, and the full experience is the right way, I promise you it is so easy to have these companies, these big companies like Adidas and Reebok and all these other companies actually come knocking on your door. Like, I promise you there's no magic to it. As long as you set up what you're supposed to do, set that up in the right way. Just some branding stuff really quick to dispel some myths, because I have a lot of conversations with people, either when I'm at conferences or when I'm just doing webinars and things like that, and they don't really understand what a brand is. A lot of people tell me, I have this idea or I have this brand, and I'm like, it doesn't really happen exactly that way. Brand is not a logo. not just an identity. It's not even a product. It's a person's gut feeling that they feel about your company and about what you're doing. The place that you hold in the mind of the consumer is really what a brand is. So it's nothing that it's something that you can foster, but it's nothing that you can actually say like, "Hey, I'm here. Here's my brand." It doesn't really work that way. But it's really a gut feeling that people feel and emotionally, intuitively. But I like to use these two examples that I think are really fun. I did an article about a year ago on the top 5 marketing lessons that you could learn for Nicki Minaj and Lady Gaga. When you think about the music industry before these two ladies came around, I guess Little Kim was the one that kind of was on the eccentric side, but it was very, very bland, very kind of cookie cutter, very kind of roughneck, I guess I should say. I don't know a better word to use, but I think these ladies did some very simple things that really helped catapult their brand, and there's some really strong lessons that we can learn from them. One, of course, remain consistent and true to your brand. I think that's really important. Lady Gaga and Nicki Minaj, they were weird when they first came out, and they're still weird, right? They remain consistent, even though in the very beginning people are like, what the heck? Who the hell are they? Why is she wearing a meat dress? Why is her hair like that? And they remain consistently weird, and that has worked for them. They've been able to start movements in both of their respective areas, both their respective genres, that have really catapulted every single thing that they're doing from a social media standpoint, and of course from a record sales standpoint, and overall brand as far as the bigger companies that have aligned with them and also pay them a lot of money, right? Join a socially connected group. This has been really important for us. A lot of the companies that we worked with, of course, they have bigger budgets than we do from a marketing standpoint. They have bigger distribution. They've been around for a very long time. Case in point, Vitamin Water. When we worked with Vitamin Water, they, of course, they have millions of followers on Twitter, on social media. Their product is distributed worldwide. But they came to Miami and wanted to work with us, and we were able to take advantage of that when we did events for them, and they were tweeting about our Vitamin Water popsicles, and we did like the XXX popsicles. They were tweeting and putting on Facebook and Instagram everything that we were doing as part of their event, and they actually paid us, but we were able to provide value with what they were doing. But it makes sense to connect with a socially connected group. That's something that Nicki Minaj did when she joined the record label with Lil Wayne. Hey, they already had a tried and true plug and play kind of program that they were already running. They already had a huge following, and she was able to easily capitalize on that. I'm sure it took some work, don't get me wrong, but it's much easier when you're kind of falling into a model. Take an old concept and reinvent it. I know you hear it all the time in fashion, like this person stole this idea from that. There are really no original ideas anymore. Like, we kind of pretty much need to get that out of our head. Ideas aren't really original. There's really only original execution these days. Everything that we do, everything that I do, everything that people around us do has been influenced from something, whether directly or indirectly. But you can definitely use that to your advantage with what you're doing. There's nothing wrong with taking an old concept and reinventing it. Nicki Minaj got in trouble for that when people were like, she stole from Little Kim. But I'm like, people that listened to Little Kim and knew who she was, the 18-year-olds that work with me have no idea who Little Kim is. So technically, you can reinvent something and introduce it to a whole new audience that has no idea of the originality of where the concept originated from. And you build a whole new platform for not only yourself, but the people that you essentially stole from, right? Individualize a group movement, and then of course make bold statements. And I don't think I really need to go into what it means to make a bold statement for you guys, because you're in fashion. You really understand that and you get that. But when I talk about making a bold statement, what you really want to do is concentrate on that gut feeling that you have, right? because a lot of times we have these really outrageous ideas, or we think that they're outrageous, and they're the ideas that make us very uncomfortable. And really, those are the ideas that you should be following when it comes to like marketing your company, trying to catapult your ideas. Those ones that make you uncomfortable are probably your like most epic idea, and it's really going to catapult what you're trying to do. The ones that scare us, the ones that seem so out of left field, so out of the box. It's pretty much a monument, and it's your turn to like smash the monument. It's just, you got to think way outside the box if you want to make it. And that's what really building a niche and branding what you're trying to do is all about. There's no magic to it. I would love to say there's a magic wand that I could just sell to you and make it happen, but that's not necessarily the case. But there's some things that you just really have to get comfortable feeling uncomfortable. And then at the end of the day, you have to create an experience, or no matter what you're doing is going to fail. So no matter if you're selling your products online or in person, you have to figure out to make sure it's a really unique and really great experience. Even above all, like, think of some of the interactions that you have with some of your service providers. When's the last time you had a problem with your cell phone and you're calling and you're like, my name is Felecia, and it's like, I don't understand that. And it takes forever to like get a real person on the phone. You can have a clothing business that promises that real people are going to pay attention to you. Real people are going to do this aspect of the business where your competitors don't do that. And that's a game changer within itself. So sometimes the ideas don't even have to be like these big, grandiose, like big budget ideas. It doesn't really cost you anything to make sure that anytime a client calls you or a prospective client calls you, that they don't get a voicemail, that you don't like enroll into some BS like automated system, that you make sure that someone real answers the phone and takes care of their problems. And I promise you will have loyal followers that come back and will spread the word that something that simple happens every single time. Again, when I was working in experiential marketing, we did a lot of really crazy stuff that didn't cost a lot of money. This is one of the tents that we had in a huge fashion district in downtown LA. The other picture is a friend of mine promoting, I don't remember, I think it was for Comcast, and we wore these big globe, I can't remember the name of the things, helmets, but they were in the shape of a brain, and we were kind of promoting that. Some really cool stuff that we are doing for Walgreens, and just really creating an experience. And that's what we've always done with Feverish, from every different level, from the bright colors. This is actually a pretty old picture, but of the bright colors, the fun, cute girls, and then above all and anything else, having amazing customer service. And people will fall in love with you. People will become like brand ambassadors for what you're trying to do when you really inject your personality into your business. And I'm quirky, I'm funny, I'm clumsy, I like to have fun, and that is a part of my business. For a long time, I never even wanted to really tell people how I started the business or where I came up with the idea. I'm like, yeah, it's just this crazy idea that I had. And then after a while, I'm like, I need to tell the real story. And the real story is I fell down chasing after an ice cream truck in heels, right? Who does that but clumsy old me, right? But people love that story. One of the things that they do immediately is they laugh about it. And then it's an instant conversation starter, and it goes in so many different areas. But it easily opens up that platform just because I decided to stay true to myself, no matter how embarrassing the story is. But people really respect and they really feel a connection from a branding standpoint when you are authentically who you are and your brand is authentically who it is. Like, it's too much work to try and pretend to be something else or someone else. And there's so many stories that can be told, and unique stories that can be told. I have in our shop, I have a little poster that right beside the register is like fun facts about the Chief Popsicle and my husband, who's the Chief Popsicle rapper. And it talks about us being laid off and starting a business And there are a lot of people, especially right now with the economy the way it is, that can absolutely relate to that. It talks about me falling down chasing after an ice cream truck in heels. And people will laugh out of nowhere all the time. And I'm like, what are they laughing at? And I see that they're reading that. And for some reason, they're able to resonate with that. My husband is into Japanese manga. That's on there. He's from Georgia. I'm a Florida native, which most people tell me they don't know any Florida natives in Florida, believe it or not. And so there's different things that people are able to relate to. And you don't think that a lot of times these crazy stories about yourself really mean anything, but you have to tell your brand story. If you walk into a lot of grocery stores these days, especially like Whole Foods here in the States, every bottle of jam that you pick up, or every bottle of maple syrup or whatever, you turn to the back, it has the nutrition labels, and then it has a story of how the product started. And a lot of times people are like, all right, this is jelly. Like, jelly is jelly at the end of the day. But for some reason, the reason most people will pick one jelly over the other is the story that is being told on the back. And if they're able to resonate with it, then they have an affinity with that brand, and there's an immediate connection. So you have to tell your story. It makes everything that you're trying to do that much easier. Here are some pictures of a campaign that we did for David Guetta and Capitol Records. Again, just some more customization stuff that we did. And it's really important to partner with very successful brands. Some pictures of the vitamin water XXX popsicles that we did. Social media is something that is really important that I want to take some time to talk to you guys about, and maybe even open up for some questions around social media and really using that to catapult your brand. I'm a social media fanatic, and I'm on it probably way too much. And my husband complains to me about it all the time. But I've seen so many benefits from being on social media, not necessarily for the ratchet craziness that is on there, but for the easy connections that I'm able to make with a lot of the brands that have eventually come on to be my clients. And not even that, but for a lot of the people that have gone on we built working relationships with, where I was able to provide a resource for them, or I was even able to connect with journalists all through social media, because there's a barrier that kind of goes down. It's not an email that someone can necessarily ignore. A lot of times, it's a human being on the other end of that tweet, right? Or the other end of the phone, or the other end of the email. And a lot of times I think we get so intimidated with that we forget. But I promise you, if you're wanting to work with a big company, if you do your homework enough, usually you're able to find that person on social media, either through their work account or their personal account, and be able to connect with them like right on the spot. And start a conversation. It doesn't always have to be about the sell. It really needs to be about fostering a relationship and then being a resource to that company or a resource to that individual. And I promise you, it makes whatever you're trying to do, whatever business relationship that you're trying to grow, that much easier. But social media, if you're not on it and you are trying to grow a business, your business is probably going to fail. There are very few businesses these days that are successful without some sort of social media platform, because a lot of times people are going on their phones before they make a purchase. They are looking you up. They're looking at your reviews. They're looking for your website. They're looking for articles about you. They're wanting to connect with you on social media. They want to see what other people are saying. It's called social proofing. And a really good book for that is The Psychology of Influence by Robert Cialdini. And it really goes into social proofing and the scarcity practice. And these are all kind of things that you can use to grow your business. But people aren't buying these days because, of course, the economy. So people are wanting to hold on to their dollar. The recession didn't happen to everyone, but it did happen to some people. But people are really wanting to have more value and more of a connection and see that other people are spending money before they want to spend money with you. And that's why it's important to make sure that you have a social media presence. Create an organic following or you are going to fail. Before I get to there, I wanted to see if anyone had any questions so far.
Any questions so far? Okay, yeah, any questions so far? Any questions? This is all coming to like what I've been talking about today, and how you can see how she is not fashion, but it's not about her. It's not about product. Okay, you can continue.
Okay. All right, so let me know if you guys have any questions. How am I on time?
You have... you have like 20 more minutes.
Okay, cool. All right, so let's see. Oh. All right, so I think I went over the fact that it's very important to make sure that you're telling your story, whether from your social media or your site. You want to make sure that it's vivid. You want to make sure that people are able to connect with it. Throw a little bit of humor in there, but just be very careful with humor. Video is really important right now. It's really going to be that new big social sharing. It's already starting to take place, but I really see that the trends from a lot of my friends that own tech companies and where that's getting ready to go. But you want to tell your story as much as possible. Guys, like, I can't stress it enough. There's really no magic wand for branding. There's just a lot of things that you really need to look at what your competitors are doing and what they're not doing well. And really pay attention to those things and those small things that don't really cost you a lot of money, that you're able to do much better than them. And it's really going to help you catapult what you're trying to do. You know, I like to tell people, like, when you think of Oprah, like 30 years ago when Oprah had the fro, you know, Facebook didn't even exist yet. Mark Zuckerberg wasn't even born yet, you know, when you think about that. Twitter was just a sound. Foursquare was a parking space. LinkedIn was a prison. The cloud, you know, 30 years ago when Oprah had the fro, the cloud was still in the sky, and Apple was something that we ate. It wasn't necessarily a computer that we use all the time or their products. So if she was able to do all the things that she was able to do, and not just her, the Richard Bransons of the world, the Steve Jobs, a lot of fashion designers, they were able to catapult and grow what they were doing without all the technological advances that we have today, then you guys have absolutely no excuses. None whatsoever, other than, you know, finding big companies that you can partner with, making sure that you're telling your story, stay tried and true and connected, and passionate about your brand, and stay committed to your brand, and build a loyal following. And most importantly, you have to create an experience with what you're doing, or you're going to fail. So I wanted to leave you guys with some really good resources for really catapulting your business and growing your brand. And picking up the darn phone is one of those biggest things. We've already talked about that. Elance.com, I use it all the time for being able to find freelancers on a budget. And Fiverr.com is amazing. You know, we talked about creating videos, and you can easily get someone to create something for you for $5. Like, you can't beat that. Wix.com for creating websites that are really nice and flashy, the HTML5 websites. Under 30 CEO is really good. I didn't really get to go into make sure your journalists are your best friends. And one of the resources I did want to share with you, and each and every one of you guys have to sign up for this. It's called helpareporter.com. It's a really great resource for connecting to journalists that are on tight deadlines, that are looking to interview people for their stories. I've had friends that have gotten full write-ups in, like, the Wall Street Journal. I've gotten a write-up in Essence Magazine and Black Enterprise through connecting with journalists on helpareporter.com. And that's something that is very instrumental in building your brand, is getting people that have a huge platform to talk about your brand. And that's what journalists are. That's what bloggers with huge followings, that's what they do. They are that platform for you, and can really help catapult everything that you're doing. And it's absolutely free, so that you don't have to spend any money on traditional advertising, because it's really a waste of money. But I will make sure that you guys get this list. My website is FeliciaHatcher.com, and slideshare.com/Felecia Hatcher will get you this whole entire presentation. And then I'm on social media, everything at Felecia, FELECIA, HATCHER. everything. Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, all of it. And I'm a Twitter fanatic, so make sure you guys follow me and we can stay connected and I can answer any other questions that you guys may have outside of this conference.
Does anyone have any questions at all before we continue the presentation? She's been phenomenal. Hasn't she given you like so much information? And now are you seeing all the pieces together from this morning to now? So you're going to walk out here and you're just going to say like, wow, I really can do this. Right?
Yeah, you guys, you got it. And this conference that all these ladies are putting on is amazing. And there's a huge opportunity. I know they put a lot of work into it. So take advantage of it. You know, make sure you don't underestimate anybody that is in the room with you, because you never know. On the surface, yeah, they may have this one company, but they may do so many other different things, or they may be able to connect you with someone that could be that person to help you catapult what you're doing. But you'll never know unless you kind of step outside of your comfort zone and make it a point to make sure you shake hands and get business cards and actually follow up and get connected with every single person that's in the room with you. Like, I can't stress that enough, that it is really not what you know. It is so much who you know. That's how we've gotten investors. That's how we've been able to catapult our business to where we are. It is about the connections that you make starting today in that room.
Thank you so much, Felecia. Thank you for
Thank you, guys.
Thank you again, and I'll see you when I get back.
Okay. Have fun, girl.
All right.
Bye.